This is a demonstration of how you code a Magic 8 Ball using a microbit. So first of all, we're going to go through how you do it on the screen and then have a look at how you transfer it physically to the microbit itself, if you've got one to use. So go onto a browser like Google Chrome and you'll just need to type in make code microbit, press enter, and you can choose the first one there. MakeCode is the programming platform that we use, the editor that we use to create programs on our little microbits here. So you need to choose new project and you need to give it a name. So let's call it what we're doing, Magic 8 Ball. Create. And then you're given the usual interface where you've got the virtualization of the microbit here. You've got all the sections of code here where you get your code from, and then you've got your editing area over here where you can put those blocks of code. So let's remember what we're creating. So it's a toy that was invented in the USA in the 1950s. It was like a giant pool ball. You asked it a question like, will I be rich and famous one day? You shake the ball and one of 20 different answers randomly appears. They could be positive, negative, or somewhere in between. It's just a bit of fun, really. So what you're doing here is creating an output using the LED displays once it's shaken to show a tick for yes, a cross for no, or a meh face for not sure. So what you're going to do is create a program that generates a random number between 1 and 3 and then uses a type of programming construct called selection, and that's using if, then and else statements to make different symbols appear depending on the number. So we're saying if the number is 3, show a tick for yes. If the number is 2, show a cross for no. The program doesn't need to check if the number is 1 because if it's not 3 or 2 it must be 1, in which case it shows a meh face for not sure. So if we have a look at this on the code that you're going to create, we can see here you need an on shake around all of your code because all of these things depend on the fact that you're shaking the microbit. So first thing you've got to do is make sure the screen is clear. Then there we go, there's your setting the number to random 1 to 3. And then you've got your if then else code. So you're saying if it's number 3, show the icon tick for yes. If it's number 2, show it a cross. And if it's something else, which we know would be a number 1 because there's only one other option, 1 to 3, then show an icon, and that's kind of like a straight face smiley. You could probably draw one a bit better than that. So you're going to do that now in the MakeCode editor. So use the colours to help you. You've got your input, which is on shake. You need that first of all. And then first of all, you've got to clear the screen, remember, to make sure there's nothing else on there. So clear screen. And then we've got to tell it to set a number to then pick a random number from those numbers. So that's called a variable. It's the thing that can change. So we're going to call it number. And then it gives us this option to set the number. So we're going to drag that here. And we're going to put in this place, instead of 0, we're going to pick a random number from 1 to 3. And that's where we use our maths. So we're going to go here. And you have to scroll down and find it. Here it is. Pick random 0 to 10. Pop that in there. And you just change that from 1 to 3 by clicking on it. Now you're going to use the selection process. So this is a logical process. You're going to use it from the logic bank here. And we're going to grab this one here. Put it in there. So if something is true, then do something. Okay, so what did we say was true? We said it if it's number 3. So if that is true, show a tick for yes. Okay, so that is the first selection. So what we have to do first of all is change the top part of this logic. So we're going to go back to the logic. It's not that we've done it wrong, we just have to add in your comparison as part of the logic. So we're going to choose this one here because we want to equal to. So we're going to grab the comparison. we're going to put that over the top of where it says true, and you see it changes colour. So it shows you it's putting it on top of it. And then we want the number to equal 3. Now, the computer already knows that the number is the variable, so we just have to go back to our variable and find the word number. And we're going to put that inside. It's quite difficult to get it on top, inside there. And then you're just going to change that to 3. So you've got your selection. If the number is equal to 3, then remember you've got to show a tick in your LEDs. So you're going to go over to your basics, get your show LEDs, make sure it's in the right part of the code, so it's in between this. And then you're going to literally click on here, and that indicates which LEDs are going to show up on the microbit over here. Okay, so you've got your number 3 equaling a tick. Next part of the code is to add in if it's a number 2, then it's going to be a cross. So at the moment we don't have the ability to do that. We don't have this here. So all you have to do is press this plus button, and what it does is change this so it gives you that shape there, so you can then add in, like you did earlier, with the variable and the comparison logic. So I'm going to go back to my logic, get the comparison, put that in there again, and do exactly the same process. So I'm going to go and get my number. Bit tricky to get it in over the top of that 0. There we go. And then change that to 2. And then I'm going to put my LEDs in again. And this time I'm going to put a cross. So the last part of the code is say, well, if it's not a number 3 and if it's not a number 2, then if it's anything else, and we know it's only going to be a 1 because we're only selecting from 3 numbers here, then we want a like meh smiley, which means a straight face smiley. So let's go get our LEDs again and put in a straight face smiley. There we go. So that is your basic Magic 8 Ball. What you need to do now is test it on the virtual microbit, which is over here. So to do that, you can do that and wiggle it like I've just done with my mouse. You can press the shake button. There we go. And every time I do it, it gives me a random answer. So you would test it by asking a random question such as, will I be rich and famous? Press the shake button. Probably not. Will I beat Usain Bolt in a race next year? No. Well, that's true. Obviously, it's random and it's a bit of fun, but it was a game that was really popular in the 1950s in America, and it's good to understand how to use selection in a program to recreate it. Now you've done your basic program, see if you can improve it. See if you can make the image vanish after a few seconds. And for a stretch and challenge activity, see if you can show different cryptic answers as you shake it instead of pictures. And it gives you some examples here. The next part of this video is going to show you how to download the program onto a physical microbit. Just a reminder, if you do improve your program and want to test it out physically, you have to download it each time because it only remembers the last program that it has been given. So in order to get your Magic 8 Ball onto your microbit, you need, first of all, your microbit itself, which will come out of the pack looking like that. And you will need the cable that attached to it, so a USB cable. And you need to put that in this port here. So I'm just going to plug that in. Should be obvious which way it goes around. There we go. And now I'm just going to attach it to my computer using my USB. When I do that, I should see straight away on the back here, it lights up with an orange glow. That shows me that it's connected to the computer. You may not see any LEDs on the front of yours. The reason mine's like that is because it had a program on it last time which was making a dice, and it's already remembered the program because the microbit only stores the last program that you used. So don't worry if yours doesn't have any LEDs showing. It will depend on what it was last used for. So on the back you can see here this orange light, and when you transfer a program, this will start to flicker. So what we're going to do now is transfer the program from the virtual microbit on the screen to the physical microbit. So in your microbit editor on MakeCode, you have to use this big download button here. So if you press it once, you will get this up here, and you will see down here the bottom of your internet screen, you can see something which is the name of the program that you called it, and it says .hex. So in order to move it across to the microbit, don't worry about this. All you have to do down here, click on the up arrow, press show in folder. So this will take you to your downloads folder. You will see here I've got two here, but I want the most recent one. I can check that by looking at the date, the time that it was modified. And I want to move that across to my microbit. Now, when you plug in the microbit, you'll notice down here that it comes up as a drive. Now, you won't have all these, but you should have one that says microbit. And it might not be the G drive. Yours might be E or D. It depends on how many drives your computer's got. So all you have to do is click with the left mouse button on this file, hold it down and drag it over the top of where it says copy, where it says microbit, and it will come up with that helpful thing that says copy to microbit. And if I let go, it then shows me it's copying it. Now, whilst it's copying it, what happens is the orange light on the back of the microbit flickers to show you it's downloading it to the microbit. There we go, you can see that it's flicking. So as soon as I copy it across, it's flicking to show me that it's working and it's copying the program, and the LEDs on the other side have also disappeared. When it's copied, it will stop flicking, and if you turn it over, you can see my LEDs that were originally there have gone. So now I've got to test to see if it works. So to do that, remember it's a magic 8 ball, we're shaking it. So literally, shake it. There we go. And it's giving me a random response every time I shake it, which is what we told the program to do. So I could now play a game and ask it those questions again. So will I beat Usain Bolt in a race next year? No. Again, very true. But of course it's just a bit of fun. So have a go at that now and see if you can download it. And remember, if you have a go at improving it, you'll need to download it every single time to the microbit, because it only remembers the last program that you used. If you want to use the microbit without the USB attached to the computer, you will need a battery pack which looks like this, and it should feel a bit heavy because it's got 2 batteries in it. So all you simply do is unplug the microbit, because remember it just needs power to run the program because it's already got the program in it because it was downloaded from the computer. So all you do is get the end of the battery pack and put that into this port on the microbit. It can be a bit stiff, so don't worry if you have to press it in a bit. And then hopefully it will work, it will light up, and you can play the game with the battery pack attached.